Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about one of the largest pitfalls in modern spirituality, and I'm going to explain how it's so easy to fall into this and give examples of it. But if you haven't done it, please hit that like and subscribe button, and let's go. Okay, so we live in this nice modern society where we have access to information galore. We have access to the internet. We can look up anything, any spiritual teacher, any spiritual teaching we can find information about. Some of it, even the secret stuff, can still be located. It's an excellent resource, it really is. But one of the problems with modern spirituality is that we don't go through the basics, right? Our egos drive us to seek all of these wonderful experiences, and it might be seeking enlightenment, whatever the case may be, but we don't go through the basics. So here's what happens with that. So in older versions of spirituality or spiritual practices, they have their students perform some of the basics for years, months, years. And what happens is, inside of a piece of information, inside of the realization that could happen with that piece of information, there are also multiple layers, like an onion or a flower. And you want to tear that down until you get to the very middle, and you know why. Okay, so this is one of the things that people skip through. We go searching for answers in this modern world, and we're searching through YouTube, we're reading books, and we're forgetting to go through the basics, the reason why things are done a certain way. So the understanding of why something is done a certain way has been lost along the ways, and some even the older traditions may not even know why they do what they do. They may have discovered that if I teach this person this way, it may have a negative outcome that slows down their progress or causes other problems, right? And I'm guilty of that. I started seeking everything, and then I realized that I had to, back it down and start working on certain things. One of the reasons why I push ego work so hard is because even when you think you have a grasp on it, even when you think that you've gotten to a point where you can see it clearly, there are certain things that will arise where you become completely blinded through it. And it's not fun when it happens. And unfortunately, depending on who you are and your personality, you may end up going more into the ego than you actually go away from the ego. A perfect example of this is, since people sometimes in this modern age are jumping from A to Z, they're starting their journey, or maybe they've had experiences early in life, to having really big cosmic experiences or whatnot, but they didn't study B, C, D, E, F. What ends up happening is they get this know-it-all attitude right out of the gate. I can talk to a person who is unaware of what's going on and talk to them, everything all of a sudden makes sense, and within a few days, all of a sudden they know everything, they're off on their own, and screw me, I don't know what I'm talking about. And amazingly, you can say, well, look, don't trust me, go talk to other high-level spiritual teachers, and that person will say, well, I don't need to talk to any teachers, I have everything I need to find the answers on my own. It's like, okay. There's a reason why we rely on the elders. The reason why we rely on people who have been there and done that It's because they have already come across most of these pitfalls and they know what some of the troubles are. So when you're trying to talk to a person like this who has gotten into the whole I know more than you, even though I may have only come to these discoveries recently, or you may have helped me get to where I am now, type of people, um, it doesn't really work. Like they go into the pious game, or what I call the pious game, which is where the ego begins to take what it's learned and it begins to use it as a weapon. Like, oh, it's your ego. Oh, you're arrogant. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about, right? All the time they're fuming, and then eventually they get to a point where they go on a personal attack against you, not able to see what's going on, right? So, yeah, with the ego work, it's so important to figure this out, to understand what ego is and everything, because what happens is people come to these concepts of their position, their opinion about something is right, yours is wrong. You think the old ways, it's not like that nowadays. And unfortunately, that's exactly why we have the troubles that we have, is because people aren't willing to shed everything that they think they believe. They're not willing to shed their personal values and start from scratch in order to learn the layers of why something is done a certain way. Okay, so take for example money. Money is a tool. That's all it is. But what you'll see happen is you'll see people that, all of a sudden they become awake to a certain point, but they haven't done a lot of necessary ego work, so they don't comprehend that every concept or idea that they have is literally a creation of the mind. They don't know this, right? So they don't understand something like service to self versus service to others. So what happens is they have a big old mystical experience, and within a month, they now have a business. They're selling themselves out to make money. And what the ego does is it justifies this using the whole, well, I'm helping other people. No, you're not. Okay. If somebody comes to me and says, hey, I need help, and I say, sure, let's do this, and I do it without any kind of expectation, I'm helping that person. If a person comes to me and says, hey, can you help me? And I say, yeah, but you got to pay me. I charge $500. You're offering a service. It's no different than if you need a plumber, okay? You're not helping them. You're providing a paid service. You're a business, all right? Service to self says, what can you give me, okay? And service to others says, I will help other people with no expectations and nothing in it for me. The deeper level ramifications, the deeper level effects that come from this is a ripple across the energy field. When you help people without expectation, it affects the reality that you live in, and it changes the world around you. Okay, and a lot of people don't get this. I mean, I've had 3 people so far that have basically gotten to a certain level of awakening or experience, but they have not done months or years of ego work to deep level comprehension of what ego actually is. They've played the pious game on me by saying, oh, it's your ego and you're arrogant and blah, 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 and you think you know everything. And I'm sitting here trying to help these people realize what is going on, and they can't even see it. They're blind in their, what I call an ego flare-up. The ego is flared up. It is now protecting itself, and it is using every tool in its arsenal, including what you may have taught them, against you. So the ego will come up and say, oh, this is you, this is your problem. You're the one with the ego. You're the one. Okay. Yeah, this is the pious game. They might even throw scripture at you. They'll throw memes at you with nice little pretty words on there. And you know what? They do this without actually understanding the deep kernel of information that lies as to the why things are done a certain way. And this is one of the reasons why, if you actually go and talk to spiritual teachers, and I know several of them, that if you start arguing with them, or, well, I don't believe that, or I don't think that's what it is, or whatever, they're just going to be like, oh, okay, sure, yeah. And they'll listen to you for a little bit, and then they're going to be like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I got something I got to do. And they'll just completely ignore you, right? And then, you know what? Maybe I've been too candid with people. Maybe I've been too friendly with people. Maybe I didn't sit on a pedestal high enough for them to develop some sort of weird, I don't know, respect slash idolism, but that's not how I am to begin with. I don't actually like that version of spirituality where you have to go to this guy and you're not allowed to question anything that he says. It's not the pursuit of truth, right? And if we're pursuing a spiritual practice, it's all about the pursuit of truth, so that we can find out necessary information so that we can now get to wherever we're going. I'm beginning to see the need to go back and study some of the old scriptures, like the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, and I'm seeing texts from previous yogis and Buddhist masters, and I'm understanding what they're saying, right? But to understand what they're saying, you have to dissolve enough of the ego, or at least be able to see clearly from the ego to a certain point where you can get it, right? And you also have to have certain layers of realizations leading up to that point. I've heard Adishani talk about this before, the reason why things are done a certain way, right? But you can't tell people that, because the mind says, I want this now, and they don't take it as a marathon. They take it as once I have my big experience, then that's it. There's a big difference between enlightenment and enlightened living. Once you get like awareness or awakening of what you are, and once you've had an experience of reality aside from what it looks like, that's like kindergarten. You've barely made it through the gate. I mean, what, you think you know everything now? I've been doing this for a while, and I'll tell you right now, every day some new deep realization unfolds. And everybody has ego. Adishani will tell you that. Pretty much every major teacher out there will tell you that, right? Eckhart Tolle will tell you. What happens is you have to have some sort of interface to this world. You have to be able to collect knowledge and be able to use that knowledge in an organized manner to be able to function, right? If you didn't, you wouldn't know what a bowl of cereal is, and you wouldn't know how to use a spoon, and you wouldn't know how to put it in your mouth, and you wouldn't know how to chew, and you wouldn't know how to swallow, right? So ego is a necessary thing. But what people don't understand is what is unnecessary are the judgments, biases, and belief structures that people carry. If you believe that money is okay to pursue, then go for it. That is what you want. But that's pretty much where everything's going to stop with you. Your deeper realizations may come later, and something may knock you off your game of trying to collect money. But when you like me, I don't worry about money. Money has a tendency to find me. I have a regular job, and sometimes money finds me outside of that regular job. And whether or not it's a gift to me, or a hacker accidentally leaves money in my account and it gets stuck, that's happened before too. Or two people out of nowhere ask for a little bit of help, and they give me money and say, hey, thanks for helping me out, nobody else would. Okay, I do that without expectation, but this is what it's like to be, to live effortlessly. And you want to live effortlessly. You don't want to have to worry about the future, worry about the past, and you need to understand dukkha. So if a person wants to get into spirituality and then turn around and say, I'm going to make money at this is what I'm going to do. And then what's happened is the ego has literally hijacked the whole process all over again. And one of the worst things that can happen is the spiritual ego. Now, I'll tell you right now, I'm guilty of this. I've been there. I've done that. I've gone through the early stages of these flare-ups where you think you know so much and now you look down on other people. I've been there. I've done it. So when I see it happening in other people, I do my best to try and show them, but 9 out of 10 times it doesn't work, right? Unfortunately, it's a lesson they're going to have to learn on their own. The problem is they might not actually learn it. So what'll happen is those people that don't learn it will go out there and they'll become like all of those other people that are selling their services, believing that they're somehow, they contain all the secrets of the universe, and they'll spread their ego toxins to other people. They might even teach other people, and it dilutes it right back down to nothing. And there's so many groups and people out there that are just like that. And you know what? That's okay. It's out of my power. I can't control that. So it is what it is. Hey, thanks for watching the video. I will see you back for the next one. I'm also going to write an article to go with this video, so if you haven't joined the Chopwood Carry Water Facebook group, go look it up. I'll put the link in the description below. You can go check it out. Remember, those thumbs up, those likes, those loves, and the subscriptions help grow the channel. And thanks very much.